Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be playing Nautilus and we'll be facing off against the Twisted Fate adventure from the Rogues of Runeterra campaign. I figured Nautilus is going to be interesting to play in this adventure because we are incentivized to pick large sea monsters in order to benefit from, well, Nautilus's power for deep units, and we're also incentivized to pick a large deck in order to benefit from our powers yet again. But in the meantime, we'll also be forced to discard most of the cards we have from the opponent's power, which is a very big problem for us. And against the last encounter, we will be at a severe disadvantage because the opponent can and will just draw themselves out if we're not careful. So this should prove to be a decent enough challenge. I'm running Heart of Gold, obviously, because we want to buy as many cards as possible on shops. Starforge Gauntlets for the extra mana, always. And stack decks so that we can actually get some benefit from having a massive deck. Severe Jack Elise. Going for Elise is interesting because it allows us to have a low curve. But the problem is, only Elise is actually good. In the meantime, Severe is very interesting because, thanks to her effect, she shares her keywords with all attacking allies, which is very good for us. But other than that, the other two cards are also pretty bad. Jack's not that great overall, so it's either a reroll or I pick one of these two. Can I do better? What am I even searching for here? Maybe card draw to get too deep faster? Let's reroll, maybe we can get something better. Rumble is interesting, gives us card advantage when we run out of cards. Yumi is interesting as well, because two of the cards are sea monsters. You know what? This sounds absolutely atrocious, but I'm picking it up just because both the cards are sea monsters. Let's go for Yumi. Slow and steady, a nutshell selection, welcome gift. Let's do welcome gift for the keywords. I don't feel like spending too many rerolls. Draw to refill your spell mana formula. Card draw is always good when you're playing Nautilus. The Darkin Harpoon, sure. Carrion Subworker, not a sea monster. I would like some sea monsters, please. Aloof Travelers, I guess that's a sea monster. Same thing with Spirit Leech. All of these are pretty bad. Blinded Mystic, sure. Fleet Admiral Shelley, nope. Terror of the Tides, now that's a good sea monster for once. Swole Squirrel or Dedicant of the Challenge. Let's pick up the Swole Squirrel, it would be interesting. Let's reroll. This is our last card. Better make it something that's actually good. One that I cost less, draw to end the next round start and grant them fleeting. Another card draw card. Let's just pick up the All Hunters. It replaces itself immediately, and it's a bit better because it acts as a form of removal in a deck where we don't really have a lot of removal. Keep the Aloof Travelers. Might be able to play them alongside something, thanks to the fact that they refill my spell mana. Never mind. Ooh, we already hit deep. In that case, let's give those Aloof Travelers double attack thanks to the Yumi. And hope for the best. We are going to discard 2 here. Next turn I'll be able to go for the formula. Sure. I'm going to end up discarding Nautilus, however. You know what? I'm not going to play the formula. Let's just play the Swole Squirrel and try and threaten the opponent with lethal, since that's the best I can do. Running out of cards, that's a big problem. Maybe we can close out the game this turn with the Swole Squirrels with Overwhelm. I'm not really close to decking out, but I don't want to be here for too long. I know for a fact things won't be great for us if we allow ourselves to deck out. Or to reach the point where we're near decking out. Obviously decking out is bad, because you lose, just straight up. We'll do this here, I guess. Doesn't really do much for us. Then I'll override the Y'all Hunters just so I have a second sea monster, and it's exactly the same one. It's kind of funny. Anyway, game over. I definitely need something that gives us either ramp, or I need better early plays, because I just spent most of the turns off that game just doing nothing, or I felt like I was doing nothing. Full Shark, Arena Mechacaster, Mechanized Mimic. Oh, I want to pick Mechanized Mimic so bad, but it's also terrible if I pick it up, because my deck is going to be so top heavy. I'm going to pick it up. It's a bad decision, I shouldn't do it, but I'm doing it anyway. Let's go for the shop. Maybe we'll get some good options in the shop. Maybe we can get shared mana flow. That would be interesting. Just to get both my and the opponent's deck accelerated. Could be a way to make it so we win faster. Buff Travelers. Gets us through our deck. Unfortunately, we'll end up discarding the Harpoon. But we hit deep, and that's all that matters. Let's do Swole Squirrel, because Swole Squirrel can close out the game. That's a high roll. Now we have... we can get a massive both Swole Squirrel and Mechanized Mimic off of this. The opponent has no way to survive now. Scratch that. The opponent has a way to survive now. Well, at least we'll be able to do this and deal a decent amount of damage to the opponent's Nexus. And release my unit from capture. But it no longer has the lifesteal keyword, and I lose the double attack keyword because I lose my second Yumi. Kind of annoying. Well, at least I'll be able to drop down a second Mechanized Mimic as a way to threaten the opponent. And thanks to the Overwhelm IL on this Swole Squirrel, I'll have 3 Overwhelmers. No way the opponent can deal with 3 Overwhelmers. Good thing I decided to keep the Y'all Hunters around. I thought for a second about overriding them since they were the lowest started unit in the board, but keeping him around allowed us to secure Spell Shield for both of our Mechanized Mimics. And in turn protected that Mechanized Mimic from the removal. I don't know if I would have managed to win otherwise. I could have picked one of the cheaper units, but I really want something, yeah, like this 3 mana sea monster. Boarding party. Do I care about boarding party? Honestly, not that much. Let's just pick up the 3 mana sea monster, even though its effect is pretty negligible in this deck. I don't have 2 cost cards. Bye bye boarding party. Might as well. It can work to remove spell shields on stuff that's blocking, can chip away at the opponent's self slightly every turn. Might be relevant. Toss these. Not the best first hand, but not the worst either. I'll just play the Swole Swirl and hope I can grow it.
I go wherever the waves take me.
Yep, not this turn though. I'll save the lifesteal units. I'll buff up the Swole Swirl with the Yumi. Give it double attack. Ensure that the Swole Swirl strikes twice means that I'll get a bunch of healing. Never mind, because the opponent found a way to remove the Swole Swirl. That's annoying. At least I'll be able to heal after the opponent attacks here. So it will be like as if I haven't lost any health. Unfortunately, I'm going to discard Yumi. Elusive. Let's drop down another Aloof Travelers, I guess. Hit deep. I want Darkin Harpoon. I'll keep the Darkin Harpoon around. Gives us more card draw. Let's attack with all of these. Force the opponent to take bad trades here. Yep. I guess he does get to kill the Aloof Travelers, so it's not the worst thing in the world for him. But it's actually pretty good for me. I keep control of the board. Ooh, double mechanized mimic. Do I want that? Yes, I do. Hopefully I get to release the one that's captured. I might not even need the one that's captured. Might just be able to close out the game with the units I have on board. Mechanized Mimic is going to get double attack, overwhelm, and elusive. Because it shares all the keywords, yep. Even if I got most of my units removed, the Mechanized Mimic would be enough to close out the game. Okay, we've kind of hit our stride, I think. The fact that we have pretty bad first turns doesn't really matter because we have enough of a staying power to the point where we can survive just passing most of the first few turns and just go from there. Let's pick this up. 4 mana Sea Monster that generates board presence. I don't want to cut cards from my deck. We're already at 37. If I'm not mistaken, what are the breakpoints again? It's like 18. Past 18 at game start. So it's 18, 30, 30, 42, 42, 42, 54, 66 for each of the thresholds for the buff from the stack deck. So we already hit one. We need to hit 42 for the second buff. There's going to have to be a shop where I just splurge, and there will also have to be a rationing of the rerolls for that to happen. That's something. Getting Yumi. It's not really ideal. I would much rather have a unit that actually does something, or a unit that I can slot Yumi on. It's fine. I'll just pass priority back to the opponent. The Swole Squirrel is going to be stun locked for a while, but I don't really care. I hit lifesteal on the Rainbow Fish, so I can heal myself. Let's do Darken Harpoon here. Yeah, and I'll use the Prowling Projectile just so I get a Yumi back into the deck, just in case. It's fine. Let's attack with both of our units here. If the opponent wants to trade into the Spirit Leech, I'll take it.
Are you prepared?
He must have a second Morgana if he's doing that though. No, he is just throwing Morgana out for no reason. Yeah, actually he is. I wonder why. Well, let's do this. That's a decently statted unit.
Okay, Dolly. Just like you showed me.
This is the one that's shackling the Swole Squirrel, so Swole Squirrel is released now.
I go where you go.
The second Swole Squirrel is a nice hit. I'll put the Rainbow Fish on the Yumi actually. Yumi is going to get released after this turn, so even if I don't play the Shackles, it's fine. If the opponent attacks me here, I have options. Just do this. This is actually good for me. The Swole Squirrel will get double the attack. Yeah, the opponent just sealed his fate. He should have kept the units around, or at least thought a bit more about the trades, because now I can just synergize here. I attack with everything, and the opponent has a bunch of sea monsters coming his way. I didn't even proc deep, this is just the default stats of my units. The stack deck is putting in work. That and the Swole Squirrels. That was a great addition to the deck. They get incredibly scary very quickly. What would be the best here? I guess +1/+1 and Fearsome on the Yumi. Getting more Yumis is nice, means more chances of giving stuff double attack. Flexible game plan. Thrice bound summons a Terror of the Tides. Let's just do flexible game plan. Gets us to deep faster. Spell chest, I'll take it. The more cards, the better. Toss these. I'll toss everything. Maybe I should have kept the Swole Squirrel since they've been so great. We'll slot Yumi in this guy. Discard everything else. This is most likely what's going to end up happening. Against the last encounter is I just discard most of the cards every turn. Really? There goes my Yumi, I guess. Well, the opponent spent 2 cards to get rid of my 2 cards. I don't know if that's really worth it for him. Probably is though. Let's do Island Navigator. Give ourselves a little bit of a board presence. We can do the Darken Harpoon here. Get 2 attacks off. Never mind, both the opponent's units have Challenger. Well, I can get 2 attacks off from with the Darkin Harpoon from the Acorn. So things are not too bad. I just want to draw twice with the Darkin Harpoon, so we can get closer to deep. We deal a decent amount of damage this turn. But we're out of resources, basically. In the meantime, the opponent is... he still has plays for the next turn. Meanwhile, I'm just relying on whatever I draw here. This is pretty decent. Maybe we hit deep here. We definitely hit deep here. So now we have high-stated units. We can do 4 into 3. So that's what I'll do. Like so. We can safely block everything. The opponent's killing my Acorn. A bit unfortunate. At the very least I'll be able to play the Farsight or the Darkin Harpoon, one of them. So they're not completely lost. Can I find lethal here? Maybe the double terror of the tides is enough. We do have 2 elusives, so we just need a 3rd unit to connect. They are there. Perfect. Yumi with Immortal. I guess we're picking up more Yumis. Spells chest. Jettison. You know what? Sure, let's get Jettison. It gets us extremely close to deep, because it not only gets drawn at the start of the game, it also, well, it has its Jettison's effect. Lethality. I don't think lethality is that great. I'd rather spend all of my money on Dead Bloom Wanderers. Well, I have other opportunities to spend money. Not really. Little Dipper, sure. Let's splurge in this shop. Mobilize might actually be good. Get cards out of our hand. Invocation of Thunder, not so much. Let's use our last reroll. Clockling. It's an elusive. That's also Sea Monster. So sure. Do I have any more chances to get to 66? Maybe this. We go up to 57. We get 2 cards off of this reward. No, we're not getting to 66, unfortunately. I just didn't spend enough on the shops. Well, at least now we don't run the risk of decking ourselves out. Or at least anytime soon. But we do run the risk of just straight up not getting anything that's playable when we need to play stuff. We're starting in the game out with 10 cards in hand. Well, let's do Insightful Investigator. We'll jettison. Let's do this, force the opponent to block with the post attack unit. Maybe I should have pulled that thing with the Insightful Investigator to avoid taking as much damage on it. But I don't think the opponent's going to pose a threat anytime soon. So I don't really have to worry about what I'm playing. Right. This comes up so rarely that I forgot that I would draw one from the insightful investigator by doing that. Do I just straight up kill the opponent here? Maybe. Okay, he removed the stats off of the Dead Boom Wanderer. Or this removed the keywords off of the Dead Boom Wanderer, but I still managed to keep the stats.
Control the mages. Keep the peace.
We hit deep. Now he has to deal with... Yep. A very angry Swole Squirrel.
You look guilty.
He still managed to hang on by blocking the sea monsters. But the Swole Squirrel is growing. Can I even... I'll do this. That's a very big unit. I suppose I'll drop the Loping Telescope over that thing. Doesn't really matter. The opponent's dying no matter what next turn. Let's just get this over with. We're leveling up Yumi here. That's a rarity. Normally we close out the game before you even have the chance to level up Yumi. Ooh, the opponent's silencing the Swole Squirrel. That would have been nice a couple of turns ago. Unfortunately for you, opponent. It's just not... or it didn't happen soon enough. Spirit Leech, Dedicant of the Challenge. Let's go Spirit Leech. It's a card that's already in my deck. Elusive, Entrancing Lure. Let's do Elusive. It's even more keywords for Yumi, which they can then potentially be shared across the various mechanized mimics I might get. Because unfortunately mechanized mimic is not a guarantee. I'm going to have to reach that mana value first before I start thinking about playing around with a bunch of multiple keyworded mechanized mimics. Well, this is a lot of Yumis. I didn't need this many Yumis. Let's just jettison. We're at 26. I could go for the Darkin Harpoon. This might be better. Just because we can play another Yumi after the opponent kills this one. Oh, it doesn't matter because Yumi has Deathless. Never mind. In that case, I do what? I'm going to wait for the Mobilize actually. I can do Formula Mobilize. Try to empty out my hand that way. I don't even know if that will work out. I'm going to do it. Getting very close to rocking the deep. Either Yumi or the Clockling is dying here. I have to deal with that. Okay, the opponent preferred to kill the Yumi. That's actually better for me, I think, because I can just replay this Yumi. This Yumi should have its cost reduced. Yep. Can just play the Yumi. I'm actually going to play the Yumi on the augmented clockling. I think that's overall better for us. Give the lifesteal unit double attack. We hit deep. I think since I'm incentivized to play for, well, essentially decking myself out, I'll go for Nautilus early. I don't have to save him to shuffle a bunch of cards into my deck last second. And this way I can just drop down my entire hand this turn. Which is actually important because this way we get more card draw by putting more threats out onto the board. Well, let's do Prowling Projectile. Might as well. Deal 2 more damage to the opponent's Nexus. Card draw. We can play all of these. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
We made it. Yay.
These cycles. We're going to buff up the Terror of the Tides. There. You know what? I'll save this for the next turn. The opponent might just pass priority back to me after what just happened. After I essentially developed a board he is completely incapable of dealing with. You know what? I'll do this. Let's work on decking ourselves out further. Toss this. Draw 2. We can draw 2 an additional time.
Watch the ball, folks.
Sure. We'll just draw a whole bunch. Clockling. Yeah, we'll draw one last time. It also sets up an elusive for the next turn. And every time we draw, we're growing our units. We have 19 cards in deck. Actually, do Island Navigator try to go for a scout attack? That's exactly what I'll do. Let's see if the opponent blocks this. Of course he doesn't. That's actually good for me. The scout attack means that I get more card draw.
Shuffle.
It's fine. Ooh. We're going to get a mechanized mimic off. We're still a ways off, so yeah, I definitely need to play this mechanized mimic. I'll drop it over this guy. He's just not that great. And it's done. Can you please try to remove my units, opponent? I feel kind of bad just overriding my own units constantly. I won't get to benefit from the mechanized mimic having both scout and double attack immediately. But the turn after, the attacking turn after this one, I will get set benefit. Get the maximum value out of the scout.
Something to keep us moving.
Eventually the opponent's going to run out of resources as well. I am closer in the race to decking out though. Ooh, Yumi leveled up.
Turn the page, book.
Now my mechanized mimic also has protection from the effect of the spell shield on the Yumi. And the Nautilus is getting kind of dangerously close to death. Let's just give it a casual plus 18 health. Make it a little bit harder to kill. 2 cards left in deck. Can actually draw one here by doing this. Ooh, and I can play the Spirit Leash to draw more. Oh, I won! Didn't even need to go for a scout attack with the double attacked mechanized mimic. It's a bit of a shame though. I really wanted to attack with it, but might as well just end the opponent's misery earlier. Oh, what a game. What a run. So yeah, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Till then.